Hello and welcome to the Knock On KCLR and Scoreline.ie's weekly rugby podcast. Tom Crotty, Johnny Tobin, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you, Stephen?
Not too bad, not too bad. James Blanchfield will be joining us, but virtually, digitally, a little bit later on to keep you up to date on all things Kilkenny. So we'll let James be last for a change today, even though Kilkenny, of course, play their games on a Saturday. Lots to talk about, lads. Stick to the local stuff tonight as well. Wins for Munster over Connacht, Leinster over Glasgow last weekend. The URC returned, but we'll be ramping up into Champions Cup stuff over the next few weeks and all that. We'll talk about all that over next week's programme and so on and so forth. But Johnny Tobin, I want to start with you. You do your bits and pieces with Kilkenny College, but good win over Wesley yesterday.
Yeah, very good win for our senior first yesterday, beating Wesley 23-18 in Kilkenny, which was very good. It was a big occasion for certain young lads like Sean Nocton and Stephen Smith and Jack Tully, who are 6 years, so it would be their final home competitive game in a Kilkenny College shirt in Kilkenny College. So it was a big occasion for them. Great to get the win for the lads. Really, really positive for the school as well, obviously, to be competing at the top flight. We play Gonzaga next Wednesday now in Donnybrook at 3 o'clock. And our senior seconds actually play Gonzaga as well in Gonzaga at 1 o'clock, so we'll get across to that then after. So all going well. Our juniors lost to Castleknock away in their league quarter-final. But that's a team that nobody, even in Kilkenny College, wouldn't have given them a chance to get that far. Judging off last year, they just weren't clicking right. They've a new set of coaches this year, a new culture, a new breed of life. And Jeff Carter and Aidan McDonald have done incredible work with them. And Gordon Rowe as well, actually, from Carlow. They've done immense work with them to get them back into winning ways. So really, really positive from a Kilkenny College front at the moment, thank God. And hopefully it goes well next week against Gonzaga. Would be, as Tom would know, they'd be hot favourites for the senior league this year. So hopefully we go well against them.
Absolutely, you best of luck with all that, Johnny. And Kilkenny top there proudly wearing a jacket there now as well. Yeah. Come here, Tullow. Yeah, exactly. That's the way to do it. How did Tullow get on last weekend? A bit of a tough task, I suppose. No, sorry, that's coming up this weekend. Sorry, I'm a week ahead of myself. You were up against Cill Dara and you had a win over them. So puts his third on the table, Johnny. So things getting tight at the top now?
Yeah, there's nothing between the top four. You know, like Carlow on 20 points, Wicklow on 28. This weekend goes against one team or goes for one team and they're right back in the race. Like, so between first and fourth, there's nothing, you know. But look, last week was a tough task too. Cill Dara are no easy feat. To be a strong squad, strong team, missing a couple of key players as well. Their 8 JJ is missing, he's out injured till the new year, but he'll be a big impact now when he's back. But nothing to be sneezed at either. We got a 5-point win, bonus point win at home against Cill Dara. We're quite happy with that. Puts us third on the table, chasing Athy and Wicklow. Big task this Sunday again against Wicklow. They're good, obviously. They're unbeaten. They're going well informed, but they're not unbeatable at the same time, you know. To beat Carlow last week, Carlow missing two massively huge impactful players, Ross Elms and Wes Shirley. Wes Shirley is the turning point in the game for any team, in my opinion. So like, I wouldn't judge off that performance just yet. I wouldn't be overly worried. I got a bit of slagging off the Wicklow coach because I said I think Carlow would beat Wicklow in Carlow. I got a text about, I think it was about 4:10. Your prediction was wrong. But anyway, hopefully my prediction for this week will be right. I said Monday, I was chatting to Sinead Keogh on KCLR, and I said Monday that I think we will beat Wicklow in Tullow. I think it's a matter of, at the moment we're having a bit of hassle with, well, not hassle, but our older lads and our younger lads are just, we haven't got that click just yet. And I said, like on Monday, I said, if that click happens and when it happens, we'll be very, very hard to stop and very, very hard beat for any team in the division. I just think it's a bit of fear factor from the older lads to trust the younger lads, and then there's a bit of fear factor from the younger lads to take on the reins and go with it and see what happens, you know. And it's probably the first time in a long, long time, and you will know this, Stephen, from following us, and Tom knows this from playing against us. We're renowned for 10-man rugby, our front 8 or 9 or 10, but it's the first time in a long, long time we've really, really good outside backs, really, really exciting, really, really young, ambitious young lads who want to throw the ball around. So we got to trust them. it's a strange world for our old boys like Joe Waters and Frank Murphy to be involved in, where we have lads outside them that can throw the ball around, you know. So it's exciting. It's just a matter of getting that click right, just getting that balance and making it all work, you know. And everyone is there for the same reason. Everyone's there to enjoy themselves and have fun, but everyone is also there to make the club and leave in a better place. So we just need to nourish that now and make sure that works for say. Because there's something good happening there, something exciting happening there, to be fair, and it's generating down through the club. You know, there's a good buzz back around the club. There hasn't been that in a long time, even like since probably the Town's Cup win, and the year after, maybe since 2018, there hasn't been that good buzz around the place. So it's good to see. I'm looking forward to this Sunday now. To be honest with you, I'll be there in person to welcome Dan Van Zyl to Tullow, and I'll be there in person to commiserate with him after my prediction is correct, because I know for a fact he's going to be tuned in tonight to see what I have to say, and as soon as it gets played or gets put up on Spotify or YouTube, I'll get a text, "Oh, your prediction is wrong, mate." But anyway, it is what it is. It's a bit of banter, you know. So yeah, looking forward to Sunday. We're in a good place. We'll have two good teams out again, seconds and first. So look, what more can you ask for? Lads are enjoying themselves, and we're sitting third. Like I said to Sinead on Monday, this time last year we're second from bottom. So
Carlow right in your tails as well.
Yeah, yeah. Sure, look, it's great. It tries good competition, like, you know. And there's lots of positives in Tullow at the moment as well. I was saying to Morris yesterday on the phone. We've the second highest points scored. We've the third best record in defence. Carlow actually the best record in defence, conceding the least points. They're 109 conceded before last weekend, so they're what they're on now, but they're still in the best form defensively. And then we've got 6 bonus points for 7 games, albeit 3 of them losing, but they're still bonus points, you know. So 1 second there. So yeah, we're in a good spot, like. So look, it's all to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the seconds are out as well, I presume. Johnny.
Yeah, they'll be good. Look at they're a mixed bag of cats. You could go out any week, you don't know who's going to be out there. But there's lads playing ball, and there's lads coming out of the woodwork to play ball. So it's interesting, it's good, but it's exciting, and we're getting lads out playing ball, and we've 20, 24 lads playing seconds and 20, 24 lads playing first. So what more can you ask for? You know?
Absolutely. Just quickly on to your ladies, then the good win over Old Belvedere last week, 27-12. They seem to be going well in that. They're up against Blackrock College this weekend, but Alex O'Brien back as well in action. So all good.
Yeah. Look, they beat Trinity in the first game, back-to-back wins then against Old Belvedere J1s, which would be nice for Tullow to get a win against them, because they could have a couple of AIL girls too in the mix there, you know. And then Blackrock J1s this Sunday then will be good as well. That's a way. Great to see Alex back, big leader mentally on the field for the girls, you know. Brings a huge impact to the game for them, both mentally and physically, because she's a great ball carrier. She didn't lick it off a stone. So look, they're going really well. They're probably overachieving, if you're going to be honest about it. Like, they've one coach now at the moment because Aho is just busy with stuff at home, and Paul is trying to run ragged between playing and coaching the ladies. So that's a direct message to anyone out there listening from Tullow that wants to get involved in a bit of coaching. The ladies are looking for someone to jump in and give them a dig. But look, they're going well, and they're always the driving force behind everything in the club, be it fundraisers, anything that's going on. Christmas jumper party there this Sunday after the Wicklow game. They're the major driving force behind that. That'll bring a good crowd, good banter out in the club again. So it's great to see events like that back happening in the club, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny, how's your youths going? Yeah,
look, they're going well, which is really good, because our 13s and 14s are quite strong. 14s probably more predominantly strong. They're going very, very well in their divisions at the moment. They'll be getting into their place divisions now for after Christmas to see what league to go into, whether it's Premier or Division 1 or Division 2. 15s will be the same. They're quite good as well. Had a big loss to Arklow actually last weekend, which was surprising because they beat Arklow last time 24-22, and they had a big loss now. I think it was 52-7. But look, you need them too. They ground you and they bring you back to normality and realise that you're not above your station. You need to stay humble and keep working, you know, because it's the only way you're going to get better. 18s are strong as ever. They're fighting hard to get games. I get texts off Dennis O'Brien every week looking for a game of someone like Kilkenny College, because they're fighting hard to get friendlies. They'll be very, very strong, you know. But look, it's positive. Like, we had a coaching clinic there in the club Tuesday, I took the under 13, 14, 15 and 16 coaches for a clinic with breakdown, passing and defence, interior defence. And Morris took the 18s then to do a bit of shape work with them. So we've a lot of lads, senior lads in the club getting back involved with the youths, which is also very, very positive. Sean is going to take the next clinic in the start of January then for breakdown and contact skills. It's what he does for a living, so he'll want to be sharp at it. So yeah, look, lots of good positive stuff going on. Youth really are flying it. It's really good to see. Like you go on Facebook there on a Sunday evening, you see match report after match report, and even outside of the results, they're all positive match reports. There's no real negative thing. Like even out the scores, lads are enjoying themselves. Squads are up in the 20, 25s, 30s. So what more can you ask for?
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny, good. Thanks a million for that update. Best of luck against Wicklow this weekend. And of course, like you said, it's Christmas jumper party straight after, and a couple of things happening at the club as well to raise a few bob and have a bit of crack. Yeah,
well, we are playing the best team in the league. You know, we got to remember that we're playing the best team in the league. So in everyone's mind, we won't say in their mind, but in everyone's mind. But look at it, the crack will be back out there. Like, you know, the first and seconds will be out there. There'll be lads in the bar afterwards. It'll be great banter. It's going to be good. I'm actually going myself this Sunday. I'm actually going back out to the club this Sunday. It's going to be a good crack. I'm looking forward to it now. It's going to be a good night.
Couple of lies told and all that sort of stuff at the bar. Yeah.
Couple of stories, couple of lies. Tommy Dwyer will be in BS corner, and Daddy Cass will be beside him, and a few other lads will be there. Young Sean will be around. You know, Willie Cass might even venture out. There'll be an awful lot of lies told. You wouldn't know.
Absolutely.
We'll have representation from every place. But just on Blanchfield last week, I remember he said that there'll be a story with the black eye. There is a story too, but it's a harmless enough story. We're doing a little fundraiser for St. Pat's GA in Tullow the night before the House Cup final. I got a few scalps. We're in a fight night. It's a great crack. Yes, we raised a few shillings. So it's a harmless story, but we raised a few shillings. So that was the main thing.
Absolutely.
And no one went home hurt. I got a little bit of a black eye. You take that in the chin. So
part of pride.
Yeah, sure. Look, it's a bit of crack.
Good stuff, Johnny. Thanks a million for that update. Like I said, best of luck this weekend. Tom Crotty, what's the story with Carlow? Tough day at the office last weekend. You knew it was going to be a tough one against Wicklow going into it. How did it all play out?
Yeah, it was kind of tough, all right, to take, but it wasn't as bad as when, to be honest, you know, when you're watching the game live, you kind of take it all in and say, come off the pitch, and especially after a loss, you're kind of, you know, you're always a bit peeved, and you'll see every error under the sun, and this is to blame, and that's to blame, and but it's not till you actually go back over the video and watch the game again, and you realise, we didn't play that badly. We're probably inaccurate in a few areas. We got caught with a soft try first, which kind of set us back. Yeah, like missing. We can make excuses about missing Wes and missing Ross. Our line outperformed exceptionally well. Sam Dunn came in off the seconds, and in fairness to Sam, I think he took 3 balls off them. I know we lost 2 lineouts in the game itself. Our line outperformed well. We scrummaged extremely well. We lost Benny, our tight head, in the warm up. Before the warm up, he was gone. So we have to shift lads around. Owen Edgell went in tight head. Our captain went in tight head from the flank. But we still played. You know, we still scrummaged really, really well. So we weren't beat. We were as equal in the lineout. We were as equal in the scrum. Our positional kick and some of Richie's kicks were good down the field. But our back line just didn't really fire. I think we're kind of, because we haven't had the same back line any week, there's been changes in the centre. You know, and I don't care what anyone says, you can't. Like forwards, a good set of forwards, you can slap 1 or 2 in or out, and you get away with it. And you know, as I say, like losing Ross and thing didn't really upset our pack that much. it probably lost Ross's impact as in his impact ball carrying would probably be the biggest loss to us there. But in a back line, you take key positions like we're missing we haven't had the same second centre for the last, it's been changes the last couple of games, and it just kind of puts pressure on especially in our defence. The kind of lads aren't really trusting each other as much as they should have trusted each other. Their 10 and 12 were extremely good. Both of them, like their 10 took the ball right to the line, hard line, and with a hard line coming at 12 coming in a really hard line causes fierce problems. It was like they're also like Wicklow have a really good prop. Their loose head prop came from Terranure. I think he's South African origin.
Yeah, South African origin. Yeah,
nice guy, but an extremely good, cute player. Really good player. Very good around the park. He's not just there for scrummaging. He's a serious operator, as in he's really good hands. Small little things causes big problems. Like I know you come off the pitch and Wicklow said, "Oh, we were the best defensive, the best team they played all year," and that's but that doesn't cut the muster at all. At the end of the day, we didn't play well enough to beat Wicklow. They're a good side. Defensively, they're probably. I wouldn't consider them to be the best defense. I think they're beatable in defense, but they will score. They will score. If you're not defending well against them, they will score. And I think that's. I know one of the lads was talking after the game, and they said, "Look, last year they kind of spent an awful lot of time in defense. Like we spend a lot of time in defense trying to keep, but this year they've kind of really gone for attack." And I have to say their attack is a hell of a lot better than last season. And even though, like, to be honest, there's no great start on the Wicklow side. But they're playing really well as a team. I have to give them the credit to that. Our own, we had again Scott Neal is hooking, and he's just playing phenomenal. Really cutting back into it. Johnny Murphy, after a poor game against Cill Dara, came back and had an absolute stormer in the pack. Small little details. We should have won that. We should have won that game. There's no reason we couldn't have won that game. It's a fine line, and now we're playing you turn it around now, and we're coming into play Mullingar. Mullingar, we know Mullingar really improved, and they brought a tie right to the wire. In fairness, the tie came back all the way and won that game. But we're now facing Mullingar at home, and if we're not ready for that one, if we haven't, we need to stop, kind of just go out and play rugby. That's what Carlow actually need to do, and I think the lads know themselves at this stage. We need to stop being so focused on certain things and become very tied up in the way I think sometimes teams get tied up in the way you're supposed to play, and not the moves that you have and the system that you're playing, kind of very systemized, and we kind of forget sometimes you also have to play rugby and play what's in front of you. And I think our lads really need to just go out and start enjoying the game. I think there was a lot of pressure, unseen pressure coming off a loss to Cill Dara to play at home, play against the favourites. I think pressure just gets in the top of you, because you're thereabouts to win. As I said last week, a win would have put us on top. A loss puts us 8 points behind. That's simple maths. We have to chase now.
Yeah.
We didn't get a bonus point. We didn't get to lose, even though they didn't get a bonus point. We didn't get a losing bonus point, which is a huge. These are all small details. Look, leagues aren't won, or promotions aren't won in the first. There's still 7 games to go with this. But next week, this weekend coming is a huge. It's actually a massive game for us. We need to get back to winning ways, even if it's only by a point. It doesn't matter. We need to get a win on Sunday.
Home, which is good.
Yeah, it is good, but the pressure's on again.
Yeah.
you're not looking at the it's not. To be honest, like lads came off the pitch last week, and it was like you swear to God, like we were in Longford's position, we were after losing and looking at relegation. Like we're not. It just guys disappointed, and that we now have to kind of turn that around and focus on. It's not that Carlow have become a bad team overnight, but I think maybe sometimes you're kind of shooting a bit too high, and we kind of keep saying like you forget to play rugby, and we've played like exciting games against Kilkenny, even the game against Tullow. It was good hard rugby. Yeah, we didn't win the game, but it was it was a tough game, but we play better. At the moment, we just need to kind of small little tweaks, like Johnny was saying with Tullow. Same again, you're waiting for it to click, and sometimes you just need to as I say, like to get out there and play what's in front of you and stop thinking that you have to do this system or that system. It's just go out and play the sport. But look, pressure's
on that there, Tom, on that system thing. I'm 100% with you on that. I think a lot of coaches as well are at fault on that. Like me personally, I with IT Carlow, not that I don't coach attack, but I give them 4 or 5 strike plays. I think some coaches spend too much time worrying about a 1-3-3-1 or a 1-3-3-2, and you have to be there. If you're not there, the whole thing goes to pot. You have to play what's in front of you. Rugby's very, very simple. You don't need to complicate it. You don't need to make it a lot more stressful than it is on the mind. Just run square, run hard, fix the defender. You'll get an edge somewhere. Like sometimes lads get really, really stressed out about attack policies or structure policies, and then they forget to play the game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I remember like we were a couple of years back, we were coaching an underage team, and we had a loss and came back in, and we were really frustrated, and we just actually turned around and said, you know what, that's the next game. Before the next game, when we went out for the next game, he said, forget about everything you've learned this year and just go out and play, throw the ball around. I said pick and go, slam, run hard, and the lads went out and won. They actually had a smile on their face at the end of the game. And I think sometimes it's not, look, you have to have a structure, because you have to have a certain structure every team has structure, but sometimes you just overthink the structure and you kind of forget that as Johnny, I think he hit the nail on the head, sometimes you just have to run hard.
Just run square and run hard.
You just run hard, because sometimes that gap, it's about running an angle or running a different line and just chance it, and actually put your head down and going for it, and just if you're going to smash through a lad. If you're going to take a ball in tight, just hit hard and come around and fold.
Like
over.
as an attacking threat, Tom,
hard.
If you're running hard, you're holding 2 defenders, so you're going to get a gap somewhere. If you're running soft, one lad's going to be able to just handle you. But if you're running hard and you're stepping in on someone's inside or outside shoulder, and you're just going square and hard, you're going to get a gap. And that's why the All Blacks are still the best team in the world, even though they're not in best form, because they do all the basics correct. France are the same at the moment. All the basics are done absolutely spot on. There's no sideways running. There's no out the back loops. It's just hard lines and picking off your angle at the right time. It's simple.
Yeah, we play probably some of our better rugby in the second half. Some of it coming back in. Like we had Conor Moore coming back from injury, and Conor played a bit on the seconds and came up. Conor did just a couple of simple runs. Ran
he's a good
hard.
player.
He's a good solid. Look, he's Conor admitted that. Like he does exactly what he says in the tin. If he gets the ball, he's going to run hard. He'll hit hard, and he made a couple of good runs in the second half. And it's great to see him back after injury. Like he got a bang in the head, and we had full protocol with him, and he took a bit of extra time just to make sure everything was okay. So, like, we're delighted to have Conor back in again. He's a huge asset to the team. But look, I got to go on all about it and whatever. But the key thing now is, like, again, same as yourself, Johnny. There's still a great atmosphere in the club at the moment. The boys are still enjoying it. It's better if you get a win, but with a good a really, really solid training session on Tuesday night. There was a lot of smiles on faces. The week before, to be honest, there wasn't. There was just kind of I think it was an edge kind of still there. Whereas Tuesday night, we had a really good open training session, and lads actually had a good bit of contact, and they played each other, 15 on 15, and there was like it started off. We were just kind of level one, taking it really easy, kind of grab tackles. But by the time the lads just wanted to go out and hit, so we enjoyed that training session. So hopefully now we'll turn it around. Like the seconds again. Now we've got the first. They'll go win and have to go out and win on Sunday. We know that what's ahead of them. The seconds had a really good win against Wicklow, but I think the seconds are doing. They're a bit like Liverpool used to be. To kind of just you score, I'm going to just go and score one more than you, because the last two games, well, thank God I'm down on the first pitch by the time that they're finishing their games, because
It's heart
I
attack,
think
isn't it?
I'd probably have heart attack on the sideline, or pull whatever hair is left to have, but out, because it's a one try followed by one try for us, one try for them, one try for us, one try
Like
for them,
tennis.
2 tries for us, 2 tries for them. So it ended up 4 tries to 3. It was 25-20 in the end. And we had a really good side out. It was actually, I have to say, that it was a great game of rugby. Jason ref was really strict on vocal. I think he gave about 3 or 4 penalties for lads back chatting. Actually, Chile, your Joaquin went over, and the ball went into touch, and Joaquin ran over and marked the sideline with his foot and said the ball was out there. And referee went down to him and said, "You don't tell me what to do," and gave me a yellow card.
Oh, lovely.
Sounds like Joaquin.
So now, in fairness, like, it is. It's something good in our game. Be honest, and I think they're actually dead right. Just don't take any crap.
Yeah, but the only problem, Tom, is he'll do that this week. The next lad won't do it the week after.
Yeah, well, exactly. But to go back to the first game, we had 2 yellow cards, one after the other. So we played in, let's say, we played 10 minutes, definitely nearly 10 minutes with 13 men against Wicklow.
Yeah,
and
that's
Sam got yellow carded, and he gave a penalty try. And looking on the video for a high tackle, it wasn't a high tackle.
Sam Dunn gave a yellow card, did he?
Yeah, I don't mind Sam giving the yellow card, but the ref gave a yellow card and a penalty try, which is a huge thing to give. Just after he got it, and looking again, looking at the video, it wasn't a high tackle, and I can't understand. Now, look, I'm not going to refs make it. They do an amazing job to come out on Sunday, but it just shows how one little thing can actually. It probably was a nail. It did change the game. Put a nail in our coffin to play 10 minutes. Basically, you're playing 10 minutes with only 13 men, which is not a good position.
We're getting into this referee conversation, lads. I'm going to bail. I got to get on duty. So, come here to the listeners and viewers. I apologise in advance for the 12-minute torture fest you're going to have to go through when James Blanchfield is played. I'm bailing out.
Yeah, you can say that, because myself and Johnny will be stepping out while he closes the show with a lovely 11 minutes of
we will not be listening.
Yeah.
Lads,
we're James.
Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks for the update.
Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Well done. Yeah, so back just on Carl for the rest of it then, I suppose we had the seconds as a good win. Seconds are going out now against Mullingar. They're still thereabouts. I think they tie first or second, so they're still in the chase there for the league. We go to the Rhinos next, the girls. The under 16s had a really, really good win. They beat Wexford in Wexford. Last Friday night, probably one of their better games, and they really got it together. Backs clicked, forwards clicked. They beat a really strong Wexford side. So that was in the league. We're playing Navan at home in Carlow at 2 p.m. on Saturday. I'd love anyone to come up if anyone wants to see girls playing. How good the girls are, and the way that they're playing. It's on at 2 o'clock in Carlow. Then 14th no game last week, but they're out in the league at home in Tullow at 1 p.m. As I say, they're flying, have great numbers, and are learning more every day. So both girls teams are in a good position. I think we only have 2 games. The 16s only have 2 games left before Christmas, so we're really, really looking forward. It's great. I tell you, to be honest, there's a great buzz in the camp at the moment, and we're really, really looking forward to the games on Saturday.
Yeah.
Then Carlow Youths wasn't particularly a great weekend for the youths. Our under 16s, under 13s had a narrow loss to New Ross. Great little team. They lost 29-22. The under 16s lost out to a very, very strong under 16 Naas team. Under 15s they're the team that's become a bit of dark horses. They narrowly lost to Kilkenny, but Kilkenny were our division ahead of them. Really technically a division ahead of them. They've been really getting. I actually watched the game, and there's some really, really cracking rugby. And it was great to see there's 2 guys who just started this year, Freddie Keogh and James Slattery. Both of those kids have only joined, and both of them have a serious amount of potential. And like that's under 15, so they're late developers. Means that anyone can join. Any kids out there who want to play rugby, don't be shy and come up to the club, because you can join at any age. That these are 2 lads, as I said, never played rugby in their lives, and you wouldn't think it.
Yep, that's good to see.
We were saying one of them there, like, just phenomenal the way they take the ball on. But the whole team, that whole under 15 team, their defences, which was probably their weakest point, has really, really improved. And as I say, they seem to be just getting better and better, developing slowly, but they're steady. And they have some really good coaches, and John Lyons and Paddy Mackey are 2 first players with them. And you can see the difference as they kind of develop. 18s didn't have any game this week or last week, but this weekend, as I say, we have our under 13s are home to Longford. Our under 16 girls, then the Rhinos with Tullow are against Navan and Carlow at 2 p.m. and the under 14s Rhinos are home in Tullow against Gorey. So we still have plenty of good rugby this weekend. And then, of course, we have the two games there on Sunday at 12:30. And the senior game this week is the first game is 2:00 because it's gone back another half an hour. So if anybody's around Carlow, we'd really, really need your support. The boys would love to have a bit of support. It's the last game before Christmas now. So and before the South East Final, we're playing Gordy and South East Final in 2 weeks' time.
Not so bad. That's Mullingar, of course, and the Leinster League. So get down. Obviously, Tom, the game is moving back now with the daylight being an issue in the winter. So just like you said, for people listening, those games are gone forward, backwards, forwards, brought forward by an hour, isn't it? An hour and a half.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I have to think about that. Tom, thanks a million for the update on Carlow. We're going to finish out the show with James Blanchfield, who's going to bring us up to date on all things Kilkenny. James sent us this from earlier on.
Well, lads, how we doing? Hello to everybody. Apologies I can't join this week. Just the timings of this week's recording didn't work. Johnny Tobin was available this week for a change, so unfortunately, I just couldn't make the times work. But looking a good weekend for the club last weekend. Wins all round for firsts and seconds, and 2 good wins, 2 hard-fought wins, the truth be told. Seconds were dominated by Seapoint in the seconds game, but in fairness to them, for the last 20 minutes, Seapoint threw absolutely everything they could at us. But I suppose winning is a habit, and when you have the winning habit, it's easy to keep going. And for the last 20 minutes, they were just pounding phase after phase after phase. They were showing Seapoint where their continuity play was class. Like we couldn't get near the ball. The referee was being very hard as well. Kind of any time you went for the ball, he was warning. So there was really no contest on the ground that we could get involved to try and turn them over. But our lads just knuckled down. Lee McQuay was as usual, hard self in the back row. Brendan McIntyre, who I would have soldiered with for years and years and years, is still going. He's probably in around 39 or 40 now, and Brendan came off the bench at half time and put in an absolute cracking performance. His 40 minutes that I saw was as good as I've seen him playing in nearly 20 years. He was just on everything. William Seal at out half was excellent, albeit he went down with cramp. So look, a really, really good win for the seconds. It's brilliant to see them. Winning's a habit. They have that winning habit now. And speaking to John Buckley, the coach, after the game, like, he's absolutely delighted. Like, he's, as he said, like, the better team lost, but our lads, their spirit and togetherness and that winning habit just got them over the line, and there was no way Seapoint were going away with a win in the seconds game. So the lads are sitting second in the league. Ashbourne away this Sunday, so if they can get a result in Ashbourne, they'll go into the Christmas break, top of the seconds league, which is an absolute unbelievable transition from where we were this time last year, and even this time 2-3 years ago, where you were trying to get lads to go play seconds. I remember Dave Matthews, our president, 3 years ago had to tug out to play seconds. So here we are today now. They had 38 guys on the second squad to pick from last Saturday to pick a squad of 22. So in any man's numbers, that is unbelievable turnaround, you know, to have that surplus of players who weren't selected for the squad. So well done to the seconds, and look at, hopefully they can pounce on the opportunity and go into the Christmas break top of the league. Tall order in Ashbourne, but look at Ashbourne. To win a team, to win a league, you have to beat the best. Firsts, what can you say about the first performance that hasn't already been said in Kilkenny in the last few days? They just ground it out, lads. It was, you know, they started in a whirlwind. Like within 5 minutes, there was a try on the board, a good score as well. I'm not sure who got it, the downward pressure, but it was over in the corner. Really good driving maul, and they did superbly well there to get that. But Hugh Corkery made an unbelievable touchline conversion again. He's making a little bit of a habit out of it now, and you know what? We're very lucky in Kilkenny to have a kicker of Hugh Corkery's quality. The game continued on, and look, in true fashion, in true Kilkenny fashion, we messed up from the kickoff. You know, when we needed to be on point, we needed the concentration levels to be high. The kickoff wasn't secured, and that gave Seapoint an opportunity to get pretty much a try on the board of their own immediately after. And the truth be told, probably an undeserved try. It was their first visit up into our 22. We failed to secure our own kickoff, and it led to that. So look at that, put them back on the board. It was 7 points to 5. But Hugh Corkery added a penalty, and Podgeman went over for a very good try at the end of the first half, which was a very well taken try. And then, you know, for a team that has conceded probably 4 or 5 penalty tries already this season, we were on the receiving end, and we, on the other side, we got our own penalty try for a brilliant driving maul. Lads pushed for Seapoint probably, let's say they got to 20 metres. Seapoint took it down. Seapoint seemed surprised, but well, everyone there, it was definitely taking it down. They were infringing. However, their captain Zach got sin bin for it, and that was kind of a player that they couldn't afford to lose. Zach Youngman is his name. They couldn't afford to lose him, and you know that gave us the 3 scores at half time and put us in a position where we were 21 points to I think 7 up at half time, or 21 points to 8 up at half time, I should say. But we worked incredibly hard in the first half to get the 3 points on the board. There was some naivety in the play. You could see guys were chasing a bonus point after 15 minutes, even before the game was won. Joe Manuel put in probably his best performance that I've seen in a long time, since Towns Cup semi-final against Ashbourne, or against Wicklow in 2015 up in Tullow. That day he was absolutely brilliant, and again last Saturday Joe was just on everything. His tackling, his carrying was on point. Ashbourne says Seapoint were in for a certain try at the end of the first half, and Joe just shot up out of the line and absolutely buried his man with a perfectly legitimate tackle. There was a lot of talking and shouting and haranguing from the Seapoint players and coaches that it was a high tackle, but I have it on video on the phone, and it's quite clear to see that he tackled. It's quite clear to see that he tackled the man across the chest. Ian Thompson, the referee, good Tullow man. In fairness to him, he put his hands up, so it was a clear, legitimate tackle. Joe took man and ball, and that brought the end of the first half to a close. While I'm talking about referees, I've got to say Ian Thompson, again, did a really good job. There was only 16 penalties in the game, and a lot of that to do between both sides. There was 16 penalties. A lot of that had to do with how he was governing the play and how he was communicating with the players. His communication is spot on for both teams. Is the ball out, sir? No, it's not. Is the ball out, sir? Yes, it is. His communication was just spot on, and it led to a good game of rugby, the truth be told. Second half, by golly, if the first half was dominated by Kilkenny, the second half was dominated by Seapoint. We could not get our hands on the ball, and when we did some very over-ambitious things with it, trying to run it, kick it against the wind from deep inside our own half, and sometimes it just needed up the shirt rugby. But from the kick-off again, we failed to secure a kick-off. They came down, and just from there it just came at us, and wave after wave after wave. I think we got out of our own half 3 times in the second half, and we got the ball. When we'd win the ball, we'd kick it against the wind, or we wouldn't meet touch with our kick, and they were just getting away from us the whole time. And probably got out of our own half for the first time, I'd say, in the 15th minute of the second half, and we got turned over and they pinged us back, and that was just a story of the second half. But we did incredibly well. Podman made a brilliant covering tackle, the Seapoint full-back, who was probably their best player after their captain, the number 8, Zach. Made a big arcing run across the pitch and beat 4 or 5 Kilkenny tackles, but Podman was kind of touchlining, and he took the shortest route to the corner flag and absolutely hit your man with a brilliant tackle, drove him into touch. We won back possession from the line out, and we went through the phases and up the field. From 20 minutes into the game, the lads were talking about a bonus point and kind of concerning themselves with a bonus point, but we didn't get that opportunity to get it until the 85th minute, into the 5th minute of overtime, because there were 1 or 2 injuries in the game. The play was held up for a while, but in the 5th minute of overtime, we got a penalty. The lads opted to go to the corner. Roy Stanley did very well to win his own line-out ball. Ben Devlin, as he always is from the line-out, on the money. Hit Roy, we took it down, we drove it 3-4 phases across the pitch. Backs looked for the ball. Jake MacDonald hit Podman with a lovely pass. Jake took in 2 players, fixed 2 players. Podman hit Jack Walsh, and Jack went over in the corner to get the bonus point try. We deserved it in the balance of the game. Jack Walsh had a massive impact when he came on. His impact on the game, he was the one, from full back, he was the one getting us go forward ball. He was in there in the ruck and mauls, picking and going with the lads. And, Jackson, explosive player. 2 occasions he got the ball, picked and went, and, just showed a little bit of explosiveness through the ruck, or through the breakdown, picked and went, took 3 or 4 players taking it around. So that's the day that Jack had. In my mind, he was fully responsible for getting our bonus point for us. On an absolutely incredibly positive note, our scrum has been our Achilles heel all season so far, conceding penalty try in most games off the scrum. Last Saturday, it was just on point. Joe Moynihan has done a huge amount of work with the scrum pack, with the pack. The props, Abel Viana and Robert Kelly, Ben Devlin, they weren't going back. Liam Phelan in the second row with Dame O'Leary, he wasn't going back. And then our back row was just on point. Jake Prattley is back now at scrum half for us, and he probably had his biggest game of the year. A couple of players in the back line haven't been going as well as they should be, so you might see a shake up in this week's team. But all in all, look at a really good performance from the first and seconds. All got wins over the line, so from that perspective we're delighted. And look, at 1 game left before Christmas. If we don't go away now and beat Ashbourne, last week's win is in vain. Ashbourne will jump us in the table, so we need to get 1 more win before Christmas, regroup over the break, and try and jump into the new year with a fresh vein, fresh attitude, recharge batteries, and go hell for leather for it. Thanks, lads. Bye bye.